Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Good morning.
So nice to see you gals. And Dr. Laura, great to see you. It's been a while.
Good to see you. Yes, it has. It has.
You've been sick, so I'm glad you're better and able to join us this morning. So yay, yay.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, it's I'm climbing out of the hole.
Good. And then Jennifer, of course, great to have you back. We were back together last week, so that was nice.
We were. Yes, it's been wonderful.
So what's happened with you guys this week? Let's just do a little fill in. Like, what's going on in your life besides working diligently and hard?
Well, since I was sick for a couple of weeks, we finally got our tree up. So I've just been kind of doing a little, extra, get the mantle all, set. And yeah. And actually yesterday was my first day back to, and I know I'm not supposed to say work, but work. So, got a lot to catch up on, but yeah, nothing heavy duty, How about you, Jennifer?
Mine has been just a lot of finishing up things for the end of the year. At home, we've had new concrete poured, and this weekend they put in our brick fronts on all our steps, and so we've been a little bit of a construction zone. I still have piles of hardened concrete in my yard, waiting for all of that to get cleaned up. So we've been kind of in this little disarray moment, but it's kind of starting to come back together. Hopefully I can right now I have paper house numbers in my front window. And so hopefully that'll be able to go away here soon.
They're calling you already.
They are, and I apologize. I don't have that turned off. I'm going to see if I can turn that off. So
that's okay. And where's your assistant this morning?
This is somebody who's ringing my direct extension. So
So I wonder, matter of fact, I thought about that in the last day or two, Jennifer. I thought, you know what? I wonder if her front, because you sent me a picture of everything torn out, and then I didn't see, I hadn't asked you if you were done yet.
Yes, we're getting there. It is, sorry, I am literally marking conference call. There we go. I think that takes care of me. We'll see. Hopefully, I apologize for that. So it's just been a slow process due to some people leaving the construction company we hired. Sadly, it was some of his artisans that were specifically going to work on some of our projects and such. So, and Delinda, I see that we have.
I figured it out.
I'm so excited.
That's pretty cool. That's very cool.
So if you see me looking away from the screen, I have to actually just show when there's a comment, but it's kind of cool to see that, right? And they're saying, good morning. So Grace and Jen and Kathy and Denise, good morning, everybody. So so I just click on them and they show up on the screen. So we were trying to figure that out last week. So I had to go in and ask questions and found it out. So
I love it.
Yeah. So I wasn't ignoring you, and I know you were fixing your phone. And, that's the beauty or the whatever, both ways of being live. We just handle things as they happen, right? So the picture falls down behind you, or the Christmas tree falls down, which you can't see.
Just make it work. I mean, that's just it. I remember to turn the volume down. I just forgot it also rings to my computer. So I love the tree. And thank you for sharing that video last week, Delinda. That's a great idea. I shared that idea with some other people from your video.
About my memory tree?
Mm-hmm. I love that.
It's been really fun, and sometimes I'll just walk by it and read. Now, of course, I've read them all since I put them on the tree because as I was laminating them and everything. But then my roommate from college, whose name is Martha, she sent me a message and a picture that she started with her grandkids every year, taking a picture and putting them in little frames. So she said 2 pencil trees now that are full of just pictures of the grandkids. I was like, what a great idea that is. And mine are small enough. I told her, I said, I'm going to borrow your idea and then begin to hang the pictures of the grandkids on there. So, so it's kind of fun to be able to share those ideas with each other, And I'm switching. I'm playing around. Can you tell? Sorry. Okay, not there or there.
I'm all the time of year to play and enjoy life, isn't it?
It is. Okay. I love Christmas. All of us love Christmas, all 3 of us. And probably I think every one of you out there loves Christmas. And we love Christmas mostly because of what it is, the birth of Jesus, who is our Savior. That is the whole point of it, the reason for the season. And then we get all these other things that we enjoy too. So a lot of the traditions, so we're going to talk a little bit about traditions today. So how about you guys tell a little bit about some traditions you do in your home or in your families, either growing up or where you are now?
Do you want me to go first?
You go first.
Okay, I'll go first. Well, I'm trying to think of traditions. I know growing up, do you guys remember the long tinsel, the icicles?
Yes, yeah.
It was always a tradition. The kids would decorate with the ornaments, and then my mother would spend hours putting it, just right on the tree. Well, I did not carry that tradition. I did it for the first couple of years that we were married, and was like, oh no.
A lot of work.
Yes, my tradition with our tree is the I don't even know what you call it. You just wrap it around. It's tinsel and a rope. And yeah, and Kathy's reminding me, we have a tradition in our family every year. I have a nail, which it is supposed to be an authentic reproduction of the nail that they use for crucifixion, and it represents Christ. And each year, one of our kids hangs the nail. You're supposed to hang it close to the Christmas tree, the trunk, out of sight, because of course we know what the Christmas tree and Christmas represents, but out of sight. So we just rotate through. I've got 3 kids, and my oldest on the Christmas nail. That's a tradition.
I love that. I've never heard of that before. That may be one I borrow too.
I came upon it. I don't even remember where. But it comes in a little box. There's a little, story as to the Christmas nail, and you hang it out of sight, and that's the first thing that goes on, and that's the last thing that goes off the tree.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Oh, that's great. I love that. What about you, Jennifer? You have some traditions?
So when Victoria was little, one year she questioned why we hung the stockings, because it's decoration, until Christmas Eve, it's a decoration. She's like, well, why are they there? And she was, of course, probably 5-6 years old. And I was like, oh, well, waiting for Santa. And she said, well, he doesn't come for 20 days. Why are they up? So we started a tradition in our family where we did the 12 days of Christmas, where we took turns every night putting something in the stocking.
Oh.
Now, my husband and I would obviously go to the store, and it could be a candy bar, a stick of gum. It didn't have to be anything elaborate. But then Victoria would take on the task also. Now, she shopped at home. So I would get my favorite lipstick that I already owned out of my lipstick case, put in my stocking. Now, sometimes my husband would help her out, and there would be an extra little something in there on the nights she did it. But we just did, and it was so much fun to see everybody. Every night we just opened up the stockings, and we did that it was our 12 days of Christmas. And we just did that for years and years. And that was so much fun to do, and kind of an impromptu tradition. And what we've done lately is Christmas Eve, we actually go to Lydia's here in Kansas City, and we do the Feast of the Seven Fishes, which is an Italian, we're not Italian, but it's an Italian tradition. But we love seafood. We love Italian food. So that has been something we have done for a number of years now, going for that festival.
Oh, that's great. I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah.
And I probably haven't been 25 years since I've been to Lydia's. Like, oh my gosh.
So and I actually got our reservation yesterday. So that was
very cool.
Got that taken care of. So yeah.
So, and good morning, Bet and Grace. I did put their comments up on here, so we can kind of watch those as they come on. So Jennifer, on the Christmas stocking, so every eve, so you put something in every day, but then did you look at them every day, or
every night you got
every night you got
it was emptied out. And again, there was one time I'll be honest, again, every mother out there knows, it was I got home and I was like, I have nothing. It was my day to do it. We kind of divided up the days, and I reached in my purse and I had a pack of Wrigley gum, and I literally took out a stick of gum, and that's what we got. So it was the idea though of getting something and being excited and what is it, and so it didn't have to be, it wasn't expensive. It really wasn't. It was truly just a fun way of leading up to Christmas to keep the excitement going. And
I love
memories. That's great.
Yeah.
Making memories.
Yeah, because she really was right. It's like, okay, they're up there, they look cute or pretty or whatever design you go with. But like, what really is the point?
They need to serve a purpose. And what's interesting is now I think back on it, and I know I've shared this story, and I may have even done it last week, but my grandma on my dad's side, there is 28 grandkids. And she hung a stocking for every single grandchild. And until every grandchild came and got their stocking, they stayed up. All of them did. And one year we were the last family, and it was almost Easter. And because we just couldn't get there due to the weather and the different things and work schedules and whatever. And we got there, and her 2 Santa things were on either side of the fireplace, and her Christmas tree was down by that point, but the stockings were still hung until the last grandchild came and was able to come and visit grandma to get their gift. And I think that was so wonderful, considering there were so many of us all over the place. And that's a neat tradition.
And so she got to see every grandchild sometime during the year.
At some
that's
point.
Pretty wonderful.
Yep, exactly. And again, that was a really neat thing. And in each one, it was a $5 bill. And because we didn't get gifts, there was a point I'm sure the older grandkids got gifts at some point from grandma a long time ago. By the time I came around, there were no more gifts from grandma and grandpa.
Well, and 28 of you, oh my gosh.
That would be a little.
But it was more exciting because there was a candy cane, there was a crisp $5 bill. She would go to the bank and get crisp $5 bills. So there was always a $5 bill in there and a couple pieces of Hershey Kisses and some M&Ms, and that's what you got. But it was wonderful. It really was.
And the point really was that she did it for you, and she recognized each one. I mean, that's great. That's a beautiful story.
And you remember it. It's a good memory. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. On your story about the tinsel, Laura, my mother was the same way. My mother has a great eye for decorating. I have about half of it. Okay. About the half of the eye she has. But she would, same thing, take those icicles. I mean, one by one. I remember trying one time, and I kind of just put them whatever. And
no,
honey. She came in and she took them off, and she said, "Let me show you." And it is a tedious job, which I did not carry that on either.
Yeah, and we used to have an 8 or 9 foot tree, so she'd be up on the ladder,
And when it was done, beautiful. I mean,
gorgeous.
For any of those out there that, if you haven't seen, and of course, probably a lot of the younger generation have not seen Christmas trees with icicles really done like that. And it is beautiful, but way more work than I was willing to do through the year.
I learned pretty quickly, yes, that, the rope tinsel is so much easier. and now that my children are older, they actually this year decorated the tree all by themselves.
Oh, wow.
Didn't move any ornaments. I didn't rearrange anything. I did pretty good as a mom. You want to rearrange things, but yeah, they put the whole thing up. So.
Oh, that is great. That is great. And that is certainly the advantage of having your family all in the same town, being able to do that. Because since my kids have moved away, or we moved away, they left, then we left, then they went back to Kansas City, and we're still here. So we don't have an opportunity to do that. I really miss that, where we just sit around. So we had a little bit of it with my mother and sister on the day after Thanksgiving, which again, that's been our tradition. Is we do Thanksgiving dinner and all that stuff, and then on Friday morning became Christmas, and we'd get Kathy, I love that. That was going to even mention you, because I know that you just like a messy tree, right? Ha ha ha. Hold on a second. I'm going to show you all these messages. Kathy just really can't help but mess with her ornaments.
Yep.
I love that. Okay, let's see. Grace has a little note here for us. think we'll all be able to see that. Let's see, with 14 grandkids, they got stockings every year until they were 18, and then they got the option of either getting around $200 a gift. Proud to be one of those that wanted the gift from the gatherings. Oh, cool. I love it. Grandmothers, which is such a great thing to be thinking of now that I am one. And Jennifer, I know, I just can imagine when you become a grandma, what all the crazy, wonderful things you're going to do for your grandkids. And I've watched for so many years of my friends having grandkids. And so now that we have them, the only thing that's sad is that I'm not with them all the time, and I guess at some point that will change. I'm not sure when, though. But thanks, Grace, for sharing that with us. And yeah, it's just so fun to see what families do. Okay, leave that off. Make sure I've just checking over there, make sure I didn't miss anybody. So thinking of tradition things. So what are some things that you guys think of traditionally? One of the things I always think of with Christmas is lights. So if we think of just taking some of the symbols that we use at Christmas time. So I always think of, the lights. So there's lights on the tree. I love the plaza. Oh my gosh. I mean, what's the number on there? Like how many million lights? Do you know that, Jennifer? And since you're
I don't, and I know I've known it at one time, but if anyone is not from Kansas City, it is beautiful to see in pictures. Videos are great, but there is nothing like being at the corner there where the old FAO Schwartz store was, and just standing there and just doing a 360 and looking around and being surrounded by the light.
It is breathtaking. It is just so amazing. It's like winter wonderland. And if you happen to be on the plaza when the snow is falling with all those lights up, it's like, oh my gosh, it's fabulous.
Yes.
Just don't go on Thanksgiving evening because everybody is doing the same thing.
Everybody's there.
Yeah, I don't like crowds quite that much. I've always thought how fun it would be to have a room. Of course, I think you have to even get the room reservation.
Like now for
years. Yeah, ahead of time. But it would be so fun to be in the Alameda Plaza or something and looking down at the plaza when those lights, and y'all, for those that haven't been, it literally is some millions or something of light. She said 200,000 bulbs every year, Google says. Thank you, Kathy. I'll place it on there. Yeah, and then they do the whole flip the switch thing, and it's done so beautifully. My favorite lighting is when the houses and stuff have the straight line across. Everything's very precise. And when you say it's like a Christmas village or something because the lights are so consistent, and then you just stand there. It's like, oh my gosh! And so let's see here. Denise has something here to say. I love this. This is kind of fun. Italian American family, it was all about the traditional foods, such as the fish feast on Christmas Eve. Okay.
And I was going to comment, when you said, what do you think of traditions? I'm part Italian. We didn't do the fish feast, but food is a biggie, and it still is a biggie in our family. I'm a sweet person, so it's more sweets. It's more a certain type of cookie we fix every year. Then I do truffles, and several years ago, I started, I'm going to say it, chocolate covered bacon. So now it's an expectation for my children.
I've never had that. I've had like the maple and the really sweet bacons. I haven't had chocolate bacon. Wow.
Yeah, this is a hickory smoked bacon that's, I temper my own chocolate and I dip it in I'm kind of a chocolate snob. I don't know if you caught Doc and Queenie the other day, but I used to be a baker. I used to have a baking business, and so I got into the chocolate big time. So I buy the $12 to $20 a pound chocolate, and that's what I use for my truffles and my bacon. And then it's all gone in 5 minutes.
See, and it's interesting for us. Christmas Eve was always chili. We would go, when I was a kid, my mom would make a pot of chili on the stove. And so it would cook. And she would start it a couple of hours before, and because we always did Christmas Eve service. So we would leave for Christmas Eve service. Santa would happen to come while we were gone at church because we opened up our Christmas presents Christmas Eve from Santa. That's how that always went. But we always had chili. And to this day, when we gather, and we'll gather here in a couple of weeks at my mom's, she will make a pot of chili. that no matter, and we've been doing soups the last number of years. Each of us girls bring a soup. That way it's a big meal, but it's an easy meal for those who need to come and go now that we got older grandkids and work schedules and things. But this year we're actually going to do pasta, and everybody's bringing a special pasta sauce, and we're doing some noodles, but my mom is still making chili, which is great. We're super happy because it's mom's chili. So
yeah. Oh, that is great. That is great.
Like you guys, we always opened up our presents and everything. Other than the stockings, everything was Christmas Eve. We would go to church and then come home. We didn't do chili. We just did pizza and then, tear through the presents.
And, Bill, as you could guess from Larson, he is Swedish. So their tradition also was having fish on Christmas Eve. And so that's always been a hard thing because I do not like fish. Okay, so and consequently, most of my kids don't eat it. Justin eats everything. Justin has this amazing palate. He will try everything. Alicia and I are a little more picky, but it was always because Christmas Eve we always went to church, but I was always singing. And up until just the last couple of years, I think most every Christmas Eve in my life. Probably from junior high school on, I sang on Christmas Eve, so it was always hard. We should have tried to just have chili or soup or something, because I would try to do a big Christmas Eve dinner, having the fish or something like that, and then run out to church, and then they would follow behind me to church. So the tradition, it's like just trying to get in and out, have food of some kind to go then, and then we would come back and have the sweets, which are my favorite. I could just have that for dinner. Chocolate and cookies or whatever. And we just did one present per person or per child mainly on Christmas Eve, and then we did the other presents on Christmas morning. I think the Christmas Eve would have been a really good idea. But my kids, I think some of my favorite memories are watching. We almost always had a 2-story house, and the kids coming down the stairs, and they're trying to sneak down and look around. Is it okay to come? So it's fun remembering those kind of things. And y'all see, I put a couple notes here. Beth said, fond memories. My dad driving us around the city, very young, to see all the Christmas lights on Christmas Eve. That's a great idea. And I don't know what people are doing now, but again, in Kansas City, because we lived most of our life with our children when they were young in Kansas City. So most of our Christmas memories are there. And so let's see, we have Sandy Archer here. So good morning, Sandy. And Beth, I think I had said good morning to you already. We have German descent, so stolen. I'm not sure if I'm saying that. Coffee, cake, and rum balls, not as kids, LOL. We're always set out on those days. And Bill's sister was quite a baker. She made a whole variety of different cookies. Her peanut butter balls dipped in chocolate were like the best. And she would send them to us every Christmas up until, I don't know when she quit doing that, but I have missed it ever since. So they were always good. And Mary Helen, good morning. Other thoughts, other traditions that you might have, or what you think of at Christmas?
I was just going to say, the comment about the Christmas lights driving on Christmas Eve, another one that just popped in my head, and I had not thought about this for a couple of years, so thank you for this. My dad, so Santa would visit while we were at church to make sure there was plenty of time for Santa to be in our house doing whatever Santa did. Right. My dad would take us out. We would go for a drive, and we had to watch for Rudolph, because if we saw Rudolph, we knew that he had left our house. Again, as kids, this all made perfect sense. So
of course.
And I never questioned it, even when I was old enough to be questioning it, until I got to maybe late teens. All of a sudden it dawned on me. They took us out to a radio tower. There was a red light flashing on the top of it. And we were convinced as kids that was Rudolph's nose. And and that to me was so funny. But again, I never, even after I knew everything you're supposed to know, I never questioned the fact that Dad took us out to see Rudolph. Where did Rudolph come from? Because we found him. Every year we successfully found Rudolph.
Wow.
That's funny you say that, because my dad, we put out the milk and cookies, and he'd eat all the cookies after a large meal. He'd be like, but he put a lot of work into keeping the Santa and I remember one year There were sleigh tracks in the front yard.
Oh my gosh.
Deer prints, and then he even put a ladder up against the chimney, which it didn't occur to us. Like was that how he got up there, and didn't he take his ladder? But we were 10, 11, 12. We believed, he worked every year. There was something outside to show that Santa was there. We didn't go look for Rudolph, but we were convinced because you've got sleigh tracks and the hoof prints and all.
Exactly. I remember when my youngest sister started figuring out Santa. My other sister and we went to her and said, no, you don't question this, because this ends badly for us. we kept telling her, I said, if they come to you and talk, no, you deny everything. And she would just looked at us really funny. So we got a couple more years out of it.
Good.
That is great. And boy, for your dad to go that much extra trouble, and to think of that is great. That is great.
I think he had just as much fun as we did.
Probably so, because as parents, how much we love doing fun things like that with our kids. Mary Helen, that is great that's a tradition that you've kept. That you started when you were growing up, and have kept doing that. And ours, this will be the first time we're going to go. We'll be in Kansas City and go to church with Justin and his family, and we're going at 1:00 in the afternoon. Now, I've never been to a 1:00 Christmas Eve service, so it'd be kind of cool. Then we'll go home and back to his house and do the dinner thing. And I think so much of it is like it is that family bonding time. There's something about going to church together. Whether it's and we didn't do midnight service. Bill came from Catholic church, and there was always midnight mass. But in the Baptist church, there's just always a service, whatever it might be. Sometimes there were two, and then we segued to the Presbyterian church. And, so depending on how big churches are and how many services they have, but I think just that idea of being able to go together as a family, wherever opportunity you get to do that, really is such a special time. It really is. And let's see here. Sandy has a little comment here. So special, Dr. Laura. Yeah, that he made great memories.
Yes.
So these are fun things to think about, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. And I think it's neat when things just happen. You have a tradition starts. I go back to the stocking one with Victoria, her asking a simple question. It's like, all right, how do I get her to stop asking me this every day? We're going to do this. And it became a tradition. And I love to hear those things of a family that just has a little something that's special for them. It's unique. And I love that about traditions. I just love that.
And I think, as you said, Jennifer, as we go on, our lives change. My kids are in Kansas City, and, they already, now they have extra family, in-laws and things. So there's those other traditions that you try to, fit around. So we've done the last 2 years, I guess, when we didn't go in last year because of things, pandemic stuff, but I think it was a year before, two of the years before, we set up a Christmas dinner of some type there in Kansas City. One time was where was that little place in Lenexa, Jennifer, my brain, that we met for our luncheon sometimes, right in Lenexa, Pega's? Anyway, okay.
Off of 87.
There's Pega's. Yeah,
Pega's, yeah.
87th, yeah.
And so we took their party room and set it up there. And so we had a Christmas dinner together. I think we did it that year before. Now this year we're coming in, we're going to use the clubhouse. So we're going to go to Justin's on Christmas Eve, and Alicia goes to her in-laws. And then we go to Alicia's on Christmas Day because they go to their in-laws. And so then the Sunday after, my family will get together in the clubhouse, and we'll do a meal together. So it's trying to also negotiate what kind of memories that we're making now and setting up those new traditions, because as our families change, trying to expect to think that 10 people are going to get on airlines, 5, Justin's 5 and Alicia, to fly in here to Vegas, as much as it would overwhelm me with happiness. That would be so amazing. It's not really an expectation, or I can't see that happening, But with us going there, we can still have the tradition to make new memories of when we do it and how we do it. You know,
Right.
I'm liking your soup idea really well. You know,
I'll tell you, that was we did that a number of years ago. And again, we have done that for probably almost 10 years now. And each one of us just brings a crock pot. The goal is that it's prepared as much as possible at our own home. So the mess is not in my mom's kitchen. That was kind of how this got started. Mom was hosting, but we didn't want her to have to all the cleanup. I mean, a big meal is lovely, but we both know that's 2 to 3 loads of dishes running through the dishwasher and all of those things. We didn't want that. So we came up with this idea, and every year we try to change it up and have a different soup, but between us 3 girls. But it also worked well if someone was running late or whatever. There was always hot soup. There was always something warm that they could pop in and get. And then we just make sure the gift exchange happened. Yeah. And it's something that for us, we've gotten into the no stress mode of holidays. We do not want this to be a stressful time. We want to enjoy the time. So,
and there's a lot to be said for that, because it can get rather stressful, especially if you are traveling and trying to.
Yeah, and I was going to comment on the travel, because all of our family is in the Chicago area, and so we would go in. We did that for about 10 years, and then we started our own traditions here in Kansas City, because it's stressful and it's tiring, and you come home and you're exhausted.
Right. And as much as you love seeing them, it's
it's just a lot, and then not getting enough time, with work or this, and then as the kids got older with school stuff, and so. But no, the soup idea is a great idea, because, like you say, it's there, it's warm, it's easy. There's barely any cleanup. Yeah, you don't have to worry about dishes, really. Yeah.
Like I said, it is one of the things that I am the proudest of that we've come up with. We're going to try the pasta thing this year for something different. Mom thinks we can do it the same way, and I think we can, because I'm going to have my sauce assembled at home and then just bring it there and
warm it up, pour it on. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah. So we are. So Bill, Bill is the cook of the house now these days, since he's home, which is wonderful. So he found we've made it like 4 times now. We did it for my mother and sister, and we've done French onion soup. And so that now is his specialty. So that's what we're cooking for that Sunday. But I'm thinking I'm trying to think of what to have the kids bring, but maybe that would be it. If they each brought a crock of a different kind of soup, then you have nice variety and stuff. Yeah. So
exactly. It does. It works. It works well. So
don't we love these sharing times? Love that. And so whoever our Facebook user is that said, I love the chili tradition, we don't know who you are. And so can you tell us who we are? Unless you give permission to Facebook to show your name, they won't show it. So we just want to make sure we know who we're seeing talking here. And guess what, ladies? We're at the top of the hour. So it's like, wow. But fun things to talk about. Next week, you guys, many of you, if you know Dr. Laura, not only is she a doctor, nutritionist, and I don't know what all your little labels things are. She's amazing, has this fabulous garden, and eats healthy, and knows how to help you take care of your body. But she's also a pastor. So next week, she's going to talk to us from her pastor side about Advent and what does it mean and the waiting for Jesus. And so she's going to talk to us about that next week. So be looking forward to that. Any last comments you want to share, ladies?
We're talking about making memories and traditions and those kinds of things. I always, like Jennifer touched on it, it's always good to just do your own thing. And if you don't get to a memory or tradition, just being together for this season, the season of joy is, that's the important thing. And if you can't, Zoom calls or whatever, of course, we've got the technology now, but Jesus is the reason for the season. That's the whole piece.
So it really is. Jennifer?
I just wanted to finish up with 2 things. Number one, on Fun Fearless Female, I posted a picture, and it kind of ties into my second part, of a bunch of ladies. It used to be a tradition of the mom, after she decorated the tree and hung all that tinsel and everything, when she was in her finest, they took a picture of her next to her tree. And it's something I want to encourage everybody to do because I think it's a neat tradition. There are hundreds of thousands of photos out there on the internet of women in the 1940s through the 70s in front of their Christmas tree. But the other part of that is document it. If there are any men out there, take pictures of your wives with the kids. She's usually the one with the camera taking pictures of you with the kids.
Yep.
Do it in turn, or to the women, hand your phone or tell your husband to pull out the phone. Capture those pictures because those are priceless. As someone who's gone through photos, looking at things going, that's pretty cool to see. And then also, just again, enjoy it. Enjoy the beauty. This is one of the most beautiful times when you just drive up and down the street, no matter if they have an inflatable Grinch waving at you or the Christmas lights perfectly in a row on the rooftop, somebody celebrating. And we just finished Hanukkah. I got to see a couple of menorahs and a couple of windows. I went out kind of looking for that. I knew there was some Jewish families in our community, and it was, again, the Festival of Lights, and it was beautiful. It's just a beautiful time of year for all of us.
Yeah, it really is. And so I'm going to second what both of y'all said, to really just enjoy your moments and try to, you might have to do a little deep breathing every now and then. It's like, okay, let's just be present where we are and not so always anticipating where we have to be next kind of thing. So just enjoy the moments as they happen, because those exact moments don't ever happen again, so that really is. Well, thank you, ladies, for being on. Thank all of you for tuning in today. I love that. I so appreciate your time. You have a lot of choices of where you could be, and we love it that you choose to be with us. So everybody go out, make it a great week. Enjoy the holidays, and smile and greet some people as you're out. Just a little. And even if you are y'all wearing masks there? I don't know. Are y'all wearing masks?
We are in Wyandotte still until January 6th.
And then you don't after that?
I think it'll be extended again. We'll find out.
Oh, I got you. So we are wearing masks here. And so if you wear a mask or don't wear a mask, whatever it is, you can still smile. And people can see you smile with your eyes. And every now and then I just pull mine down and smile anyway. So
or you can say something nice, make somebody's day.
Yeah, absolutely. And just even a Merry Christmas. That's one of the other things too. I don't do the Happy Holiday because I just want to say Merry Christmas. So I just everywhere I go say Merry Christmas.
And you can always do the ugly mask contest, just if you're required, just so you know. I decorated with little baubles on there, and
I think you have a little competition, Jennifer. Miss Weaver has one that looks very similar to that.
Yeah. So
how cute is that?
Yeah, you've got to have fun with it. I mean, it's something we're required to do, so why not have fun with it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, ladies, everybody go out and make it a great week, because it is your choice. Bye now. Have a great week.
Bye-bye.
And let me click it off here.